Let's explore Gloucester Tops Riverside Caravan Park. Now, it is a dirt road heading into this one, but it's two-wheel drive accessible. There are a few cattle grates, and as you come down, there are a few causeways, but you will probably have to wait for the cows to get out of the way. But it is definitely worth the trek to come into this caravan park. It is just stunning. Now, outside of long weekends, you don't need to book this caravan park. You can just rock up at any time. There's plenty of room to camp. Now, you cannot take pets because there is a lot of wildlife everywhere. And as soon as I come through the gate, I was greeted by the wallabies and the lorikeets on the grass. Now, I found a great camp spot and I just cooked myself some dinner and thought I will just get through tonight. I'll sit by the fire and relax. The sky was just so clear. I could see all the stars. It was just beautiful. And get ready to explore the park. Now, this is what I woke up to in the morning. Isn't that the most stunning view? There is not a camp neighbour in sight, and it feels like I'm in the middle of the bush instead of being in a caravan park. So I set off to go around, do a bit of a walk, and explore the. Now, this park is less than 5 kilometres from Barrington Tops National Park and the National Park campgrounds, but it's only $15 a night for a single. You can have access to Wi-Fi, hot showers, buy firewood, and you have the security of being in a caravan park and not in a national park if you're a solo camper. Now, there are some powered sites here, but they are very, very limited, and they're set in amongst the on-site cabins. But if you come on down and once you come across this cattle grate, you can camp anywhere unpowered. So there's no allocated sites. You can just pull up anywhere your heart's desire and set up camp. So the grassed area is just beautiful. If you walk down a little bit, you can see there's little sneaky campsites in amongst the trees, and it is just stunning. Now, there's a camp kitchen that you can access. You can camp near that if you want something to have a little bit of undercover area. So it's got a wood barbecue and a table. It just gives you a little bit of shelter if you're after that while you're camping. Now, I'm here in July and the weather is just stunning. Now, don't get me wrong, it's cold, but the sun is just shining and it is beautiful. Now, if you walk down a little bit further from the camp kitchen in the grassed area and head on up this dirt track, you come to a great big open camping area that is no allocated site. You can spread out, take up as much room as you want, and just set up camp in the full sun, which is great in the winter because it just keeps things a little bit warmer and burns off that dew from overnight. So look at that. This is a huge campsite, huge area. I had the park all to myself, so there was not another camper there. Probably no one else was crazy enough to come in July when it was freezing cold, but it was just beautiful. So you can walk on down, come down to some of these on-site cabins here that are owned by people, but there was nobody in residence when I was there. Nobody was in their cabins. And some of these other little campsites that are just stuck in amongst the trees are just beautiful. Now, most of these campsites are two-wheel drive accessible as well, so you can get in through the access road coming in from the Buckets Way, and once you get in here, most of the park is two-wheel drive as well. So it is just a really great place to camp and feel a bit secluded, but at the same time you've got the safety and security of being in a caravan park and being somewhere that is fully fenced, and people have to check in and come through the gate when you come in. So as a solo female traveller, that just gives a little bit more peace of mind and just a little bit more security when camping alone, that you just know that you're not out in the middle of the bush by yourself where anybody can just come and walking around this park. I just felt like I was on a bushwalk. There were no people around. There were lots of birds, lots of wildlife, and I just wandered around in the sunshine, took my time, and explored the park. Now, there are some campsites that are right on the banks of the Gloucester River. And I wish I had a four-wheel drive because some of them were a little bit muddy and slippery, and you had to kind of go down a little bit to get into them. But the campsites were just so beautiful. So as you walk down, you just had the river right there. Now, I could come in and have a look at these because, like I said, there was nobody else here. I had it all to myself. I felt kind of really special that I could go around and explore and have such a beautiful place all to my own. So, look at that view. Like, imagine camping at that campsite and you could just wake up right on the banks of the river every morning. It would just be beautiful. Now, it's very cold in July, so definitely no swimming. But I could just sit there and watch this river run over the rocks for hours. It was just so beautiful. So once you walk down a little bit further, there's some tracks that actually go along the river. So you can walk down these and explore the park and explore along the riverside. I feel like it'd be a really good place to bring kids to because the river's not deep, and in summer especially, it'd be a really great place to swim. Look at the sun that is just shining through these trees here as I'm walking down this bush track to head down to the river. Now, I could be bushwalking in the middle of anywhere, but instead I am inside a caravan park. Like, it just blows my mind that this place is just so beautiful and it's still a caravan park. So coming down this track here, it just brings you down to some really good swimming holes. So some of the river is a little bit rocky and you've got that beautiful sound and view of the water running over the rocks. But once you walk down this track here, then it brings you down to a little bit bigger swimming hole. Now, you can actually trout fish in this river in a little bit later months, so plenty of river trout, and you cannot lay yabby traps though because it is platypus country. So if you keep your eyes peeled on dusk or dawn, then you might actually see some platypus swimming around. And you know, they wouldn't be hard to spot because the water there was just so crystal clear. You could see right down to the base of the river, and you could see the rocks, and it was just like looking through glass. It was just so beautiful. Now, this spot here brings you into one of the biggest swimming holes, and it just gets a little bit deeper. So you can come sort of down this part here and walk around, and you come into this swimming hole where I feel like I could just laze on an inflatable all day. In summer, it would just be gorgeous. Like, I wouldn't need to go anywhere. I feel like this is soul food, this caravan park. So just down here is where the bit bigger swimming hole is. I feel like this would be a really good platypus spotting area too in the cooler months when nobody was around, just to come down at dusk and have a little bit of a look, because the water was really crystal clear and it was just running nicely, and there was some deep areas along the banks that I feel like could be really great for some little platypus burrows. So just walking down here, like, look how clear that water is. It is crystal clear. Now, walking down the river a bit further, there are some more campsites right on the river. I feel like this would be very much suited to a four-wheel drive, though my poor little Kona would struggle to get down here. It was a little bit muddy at the time, and I feel like, yeah, she would struggle. Now, this grassed area here, you can camp all along here as well. So when you come out of that river track, you come out on the grassed area just up near the amenities block. So you've got the laundry with some books and puzzles and TVTs if you want to borrow those, and into the shower block. Now, the showers are $2 for a 6-minute hot water shower, and you can get coins from the kiosk if you need some coins there. The shower block was spotlessly clean. If you walk around the back of the amenities block, you can walk up this track that just takes you back up to that big open field campground. So rather than walking around the dirt road around to get to the amenities block, you can just cut down this track. There's some little sneaky campsites everywhere in this caravan park. So if you drive down around the water tanks, there is a couple of little campsites around here too. And this is where I kind of ventured, because even though I was the only one there, I just wanted a little bit more of a secluded spot that was just away from being open, and just to give me that more of a bushland feel. So I wandered around behind the water tank and come down to this little spot here, which was just stunning. It was just such a great campsite. I absolutely loved being down here in amongst the trees. Like, look at that. The view was amazing. What another great adventure Gloucester Tops Riverside Caravan Park was. I'll be back to this one. It was so good.